You ever start a new life only to be told you're not welcome? It was supposed to be a peaceful move-in, just me, my wife Laura, and our 7-year-old son, Adam. We had finally found the perfect home, a quiet cul-de-sac near the lake, big yard, and, for once, a sense of calm after years of deployments overseas. But calm is a funny thing. It can vanish in an instant. As the moving truck backed into our driveway, I spotted them. 3 men in black polos, arms crossed, standing near the street like they were guarding a VIP event. They weren't neighbors. They weren't curious passers-by. They were sent. One of them, tall, bulky, early 40s, walked right up to the movers. "You need to stop unloading," he said. "HOA directive. This family's not cleared for move-in." I stepped out from the garage, wiping sweat off my brow. "Who are you?" He turned. "Private security. Hired by the HOA board. You're in violation of community policy. Move-in must be scheduled 30 days in advance and cleared by the board." My fists clenched, but I didn't show it. Combat taught me that controlled silence is more dangerous than shouting. "Not according to the purchase agreement," I said flatly. "We were given full clearance. Documents are signed. Property's in my name." He smirked. "You'll need to take it up with Karen Whitmore, HOA president. Until then, your move-in is on hold." Laura came out, holding Adam's hand. He looked confused, scared. That lit a fire in me. I stepped forward slowly, closing the distance between me and the guy. My voice dropped, calm, razor-sharp. "You're trespassing. You're interfering with a lawful residential move. And unless you leave right now, I'll have county sheriff deputies here within the hour." He didn't move. "So," I said, "one more thing. You're looking at a combat vet. I don't rattle. I don't bluff, and I don't back down when it comes to my family's safety." He flinched. The others looked unsure. A tense few seconds passed. Then, without a word, they retreated back to their black SUV and drove off. But I knew this wasn't over. Karen hadn't shown her face yet. But I had a feeling her entrance would be worse than the goons. By noon the next day, the temperature had hit 91 degrees. But the heat wasn't just coming from the sun. It was radiating from a blonde woman in a pastel blue blazer marching across my lawn like she was hosting a press conference. Karen Whitmore had arrived. She didn't knock. She didn't say hello. She jabbed her manicured finger at our garage and said, loud enough for the entire street to hear, "This move is illegal. You are in direct violation of HOA codes 3.4 and 3.6. I blinked, honestly impressed by the dramatic flair. My wife, Laura, came out from the kitchen, wiping her hands on a dish towel. "Is there a problem?" Karen didn't look at her. She only looked at me. "You're not authorized to move in without pre-approval from the HOA board. You did not submit the proper application for entry and community compliance inspection." I replied calmly, "I bought the house legally. I have every right to be here." Karen waved a clipboard in my face. "Every resident must be approved. We have standards." I was trying to stay calm. Really, I was. But then she said this, "You people don't understand how things are run here. This isn't some military base." She said, "You people." Like it was poison in her mouth. I took a step forward, slow and deliberate, reached into my wallet, and pulled out my ID, military credentials, rank, service years, all of it. Held it right up to her face. "I've served 15 years in active combat zones. I've protected neighborhoods 10 times larger than this. So, don't lecture me about rules, respect, or structure." Karen paused. She wasn't expecting that. I wasn't done. "You hired private goons to intimidate my wife and kid. That's harassment. You think a fancy title on a clipboard gives you power over my family? Neighbors had started gathering, now silent, watching. Someone across the street filmed the whole thing with their phone. Karen adjusted her blazer, trying to keep composure. Well, we'll be issuing fines daily until this is resolved. Then I'll be seeing you in court, I said. And I'll bring my lawyer, my realtor, and the county permits office while I'm at it. Karen turned on her heel and stormed off without another word. I stood there watching her retreat, but I knew something had changed. This wasn't about a move-in anymore. She'd taken it personal, and that meant she wasn't done. 3 days. That's how long the madness lasted before I brought in backup of my own. Each morning, like clockwork, we'd find a fresh notice taped to our mailbox or front door. Daily violation, $150 fine. Unauthorized move-in, $200 fine. Unapproved delivery truck presence, $100 fine. Improper flag display. That last one, they cited me for flying an American flag off the porch. Said it wasn't within stylistic standards. You can imagine how well that sat with a guy who's buried friends under that flag. I didn't want drama. I didn't want to make noise, but they wanted a fight, and they picked the wrong veteran. I called the county clerk's office, had them email me every relevant housing ordinance and HOA guideline tied to my property deed. Turns out, our HOA board had been operating in a gray area for years, leveraging soft threats, but legally binding nothing. I documented everything: dates, photos, video of the hired goons blocking the truck, screenshots of Karen's clipboard tirade, even the footage the neighbor had taken of our confrontation. Then I called someone I knew would cut through the noise. Sheriff Joel McConnell, retired Army, old friend from my second tour. He was no-nonsense justice in boots. He showed up the next afternoon in uniform, cruiser parked proudly in front of our house. Neighbors peeked through curtains. Karen, unfortunately for her, happened to be strolling by with her tiny dog. "Morning," Joel nodded, tipping his hat. "You must be Karen Whitmore." She hesitated. "Yes, HOA president." Joel smiled. "Then you'll want to read this." He handed her an official county document, signed, sealed, and stamped. "This notice confirms that Mr. Graves," he said, nodding at me, "has fulfilled all legal requirements for property ownership and residence. Any further interference by you or your board will be considered harassment under local statute." Karen's face dropped like a brick. "This is outrageous. We're just enforcing our bylaws." Joel didn't budge. "Your bylaws don't override county law and certainly not the Constitution." You could have heard a pin drop. Joel looked at me and smirked. "Mind if I stay for a cold drink?" "Absolutely," I said, holding the door open. "Sweet teas on the counter." Karen turned away without a word, her little dog's leash dragging behind her. But I wasn't smiling just yet because that night, someone slashed our moving truck's rear tires. This war wasn't over. The hiss of air escaping from the tires still echoed in my ears when I stepped outside that night. The moving truck, our last load, sat crooked, rear wheels sagging. Someone had slashed both rear tires. Clean cuts. A deliberate message. Laura stood behind me in the doorway, arms crossed, eyes tight. She didn't need to say it. She was scared and furious. Adam peeked around her legs. "Dad, are we going to have to move again?" That hurt more than any threat. I looked him straight in the eyes. "No, son. We're not going anywhere." But now I was done playing defense. I walked around the side of the house toward the oak tree where I'd mounted a small wireless security camera 2 days earlier, pulled the footage up on my tablet. There it was, 2:17 a.m. A hooded figure creeping toward the truck with a flashlight and something shiny in hand. Slashed the tires, looked right up toward the camera, and walked off casually. I zoomed in, got the face, Karen's hired muscle, one of the same guys from day one. He'd walked right past the HOA sign like he belonged. By 8 a.m., I had the footage uploaded, duplicated, and shared with Sheriff McConnell. By 10 a.m., Karen was on my lawn again. Only this time, she wasn't alone. 2 deputies flanked her, faces stone cold. One handed me a clipboard with an official report number. The other read Karen her rights. She kept shouting, "You can't do this. I'm the HOA president." But the badge doesn't care about titles. As they led her toward the cruiser, neighbors emerged from their homes. Phones up, filming, whispering. For weeks, they'd watched her bully us. Now they were watching her fall. Joel showed up moments later. "I assume you got what you needed?" he asked. I nodded. "Crystal clear." "Good," he said. "Because she's facing property damage, trespassing, and conspiracy to harass a homeowner. Might even lose her board seat if she doesn't see jail first." We shook hands. A week later, the HOA board mysteriously dissolved. Karen's house went up for sale. A new family moved in. Quiet, kind people, the kind of neighbors we had hoped for in the first place. And as for me, I finally unpacked my service medals, framed them on the wall above the fireplace. My home, my ground, defended again. This time without bullets, but with backbone. They thought I was just a quiet man with boxes. What they didn't realize was that I've fought for homes before. I never lose that kind of fight. If you think HOA bullies finally got what they deserved, smash that like button. Have you ever dealt with a power-tripping HOA? Tell us your story in the comments below. We read everyone. And don't forget to subscribe for more real-life takedowns. Veteran wins and justice served cold. New stories every week. You won't want to miss them.